Hello everyone, welcome to NeoUnrealist. The other day I uploaded a video about the upcoming Joker movie. Now at one point in the video, if you saw it, I referenced a tweet by Heather Antos where she deemed Joker to be problematic. Now, she cited a post by Rachel Miller, technically, whoever that is, as nailing the reason why this was so. So you'll also recall, if you saw that video, that I hinted at there being a backstory involved with Heather Antos that I really didn't want to go into in that video because it would have detracted from the main topic, which was how the SJW crowd's efforts to pan Joker as bad for society, I guess, would probably backfire and drive even more people to go see the film when it opened. I plan to go more to the Heather Antos angle in another video coming up, but I didn't plan to do that for a few days. But apparently I've been beaten to the punch as her tweet, it blew up on Twitter. It's gotten noticed by the likes of Dataracer, who did a deep dive on Heather Antos' Twitter feed. And it's been brought up by Jeremy Hambley over at his YouTube channel, The Quartering. Ethan Van Scriver over on his YouTube channel. I see now I got a notification. Even V's gotten in on the act. Here's the relevant clip from my earlier video with Heather Antos. Here is notorious blue checkmark Twitterati Heather Antos. Oh my god, you have no idea the history behind Heather Antos, but let's just say it is no surprise that Heather Antos has already labeled Joker, quote, problematic. She links to a post by Rachel Miller to explain why Joker is problematic. I'm not going to read through this whole thing. I don't want to watch a movie that shows us the trauma that drove the Joker insane. And then she goes on to list a bunch of things she doesn't want to see. But of course, translation, what the SJWs really mean is, she wants to make it so that you can't see it. You see what I was already onto there was that I found it odd how Heather Antos, who I was familiar with her due to her history with Comicsgate, which, let's put a disclaimer out there, I'm by no means what you'd call a dedicated Comicsgate YouTuber. I'm just an observer of the movement. I semi-regularly watch videos by creators like Jeremy at The Quartering, Ethan Van Scriver, whether he's necessarily what you'd call a comic skater, but you got Jeremy Griggs with Geeks and Gamers that he probably does a lot more content on this than I do. So if people like that, if you're familiar with their work, and it's primarily through their work and the entire drama that went down with the YouTuber you'd know as your boy Zach, and the diversity in comics guy and Heather Antos, it's probably more than a year ago now, that I'm familiar with, or first became familiar with Heather Antos. So it's because of this that when I found out her Joker is problematic tweet, referencing someone else's critique of the Joker, that it had already gotten up to 54,000 likes and 16,300 retweets. This thing went viral. So now I really feel compelled to bring you the video I was already planning to do, just several days sooner than I, in all likelihood, would have gotten around to it. So here's a sampling of some of the previous people I mentioned, a couple of them, that and their takes on the whole Heather Antos bashes the Joker situation. I'm presenting it because I think they're the closest to it and the most informed, and it's the quickest way to encapsulate just how much the bullcrap that Heather Antos is trying to sell in that tweet, how it's hypocritical garbage.
Bring in Heather Antos. If you remember, she was at the center of the Marvel Milkshake girls a million years ago, and if you look at her career past, it looks like she's growing in reverse. Started out working at Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, and now you're at Image and Valiant Comics.
Now, Heather Antos was fired from Marvel Comics. I thought that was totally awesome. I was glad that they did so. She deserved to be fired. She was a troublemaker who tried to destroy people's lives. So she did deserve to be fired. She went away a little while. SJWs will never let one of their own...
Heather Antos, hired for her creativity and skill at Marvel, gets popular by copy-pasting somebody else's Facebook post. Getting 13,000, 14,000 retweets and nearly 50,000 likes by now.
Valiant Comics picked Heather Antos back up, and for the most part, she's trying to behave herself, but she's still an SJW.
Heather Antos shares, quote, "Why the Joker movie is problematic. Rachel Miller nails it." Now, I'm going to share with you some hilarity, some absolute irrefutable evidence on how the people that talk like this don't even believe the own bologna sausage they are spewing out of their mouths, and that they're only doing it for likes, retweets, and clicks.
She tweeted out this the other day. "Why the Joker movie is problematic. Rachel Miller nails it." And Rachel Miller, whoever she is, says, "Okay, I pinpointed exactly what it is that bothers me about a Joker movie. I don't want to watch a movie that shows us the trauma that drove Joker insane."
There seems to be a real kind of transitional period for comic book fans, movies, video game fans, where they start to care more about retweets than the actual hobby that they used to love.
Heather Antos hates the Joker. She's sick of the Joker. Sick of it. In the meantime, here's a look at Heather Antos talking about the Joker and how much she loves the Joker from her entire life. "You can't spell slaughter without laughter. Oh, that's so funny."
Heather Antos, you have a big problem with Joker, huh? Oopsie, here you are doing nothing but worshiping Joker over the last several years.
Here's my proudest piece yet, the Joker. Here should try. Heather,
demonstrated in just a few years of being a part of this reward for hot take system, Heather Antos has clearly forgotten all of the heaps of praise she's placed on Joker. By the way, a character that has been popular for, 50 years now, widely known.
I wouldn't be paranoid, and I wouldn't sit there and demagogue this film the way SJWs are, as if it's some sort of ode to incels. I seriously doubt that it is. Give these people some credit. They're smarter than you, Heather. They're actual real creators.
As you could see, what Jeremy and Ethan laid out there, condensed down to 3 minutes of the footage I used from the two of them, was that the Dataracer account on Twitter exposed Heather Antos for a fraud. Back in 2013, 2014, that era, Heather Antos, her tweets about her love of the Joker, that character, were getting 2 or 3 retweets, 4 likes, on average. So let's take a look at some of her past expressions of appreciation for the Joker. So let's look at this meme from September 20th, 2013, complete with a winking emoticon right before she hashtags Joker and Batman. Yeah, you can't spell that without laughter, right? November 21st, 2013, Heather tweets at Judson Hastings and Greg Capullo, "The Joker will always hold a special place in my heart!" Exclamation point. A special place in her heart for Joker. I mean, doesn't that... I don't know, that sounds a little problematic to me. March 9th, 2014. Painting of the Joker I did a few years back for fun. Fun. You see, the Joker for her meant fun. I mean, is that problematic? April 13th, 2013. Another tweet from Heather Antos. "To speak for myself, ... LOL. Yes, I love Gambit. All caps on that love, by the way. But I'm more so fond of Loki, Magneto, and the Joker. Hashtag just saying." So there's Heather Antos explicitly saying she loves 3 villains, Loki, Magneto, and Joker, over a superhero Gambit. And I might add, in addition to the Joker, the other 2, Loki and Magneto, they've appeared in their own movies. Hell, Loki's getting his own TV series, apparently. That sounds very problematic. She's liking the villains ahead of the hero Gambit. January 26, 2014. This is my proudest piece yet. The Joker. Finished product. So that up to that point, January 2014, who knows, maybe since then she's done something she's more proud of. But to that point, the piece of art she was most proud of was a piece about the Joker. Did that mean because she was so proud of that she identified with his villainous ways? I mean, February 1st, 2014, Heather Antos asks on Twitter, "What's your favorite superhero? Villain?" When someone answers that their favorite villain, Joker, reigns supreme, Heather replies to that tweet, "Good choices, good choices." So, You might be asking yourself, what changed with this woman between 2013 and 2014? You know, the answer is that Heather Antos discovered that the way you blow up on Twitter and get known out there was to go after what was popular with the hardcore comic fans from a social justice and radical feminism perspective. Her Joker takes, from before, the best she got was what, 12 likes? With a little one-liner tweet highlighting someone else's Facebook post savaging Joker and anyone else who'd like to see the movie. I mean, she gets over 50,000 likes. So between the Heather Antos of 2013, 2014 to the Heather Antos of 2019, she had an epiphany. You had the now infamous incident of the Marvel Milkshake Girls kerfuffle, where she tweeted an insufferable selfie of herself and her fellow female Marvel co-workers getting milkshakes, which she dubbed the Marvel Milkshake Crew. And, what seems like an innocuous tweet, probably to you, it just came to symbolize for many in the Comicsgate crowd much of what was going wrong with Marvel at the time. And they felt, whether rightly or wrongly, but, caveat here, you probably know what side of that argument I come down on. Mostly rightly, they felt that these women were mediocre talents at best, hired just to fulfill some diversity mandate, because few of them had what was felt to be the proper pedigree, experience, or just a true appreciation and affinity for the comics for what they were, and the process of creating them that somebody would want ideally in a comic book industry professional. Anyway, the milkshake tweet, right there, she got 200 retweets and 900 likes. That's what put Heather Antos onto the map, and catapulted her into the center of being the tip of the spear of a diversity over good story and good writing and good character creation at Marvel Comics and the comics industry as a whole. She became symbolic of that, So a hell of a lot more than the 2 retweets and the single-digit likes that her previous posts were getting. The milkshake tweet I think showed her the which way the wind would blow in terms of woke Twitter and how she would get positive reinforcement for her views. So ever since then, Heather Antos, she's forged ahead. She's one of the leading figureheads of the SJW invasion into every corner of the entertainment industry, from video games to movies and comics, books, everywhere. So if you want to talk about problematic, just listen to what Ethan Van Scriver has to say as he describes just one of the episodes that she was associated with, the real-life persecution of Richard Meyer, the guy who runs the Diversity in Comics YouTube channel. You might know him as your boy Zach. Clearly, he's her leading detractor.
Heather Antos, who of course used to work for Marvel Comics, spent a lot of her time while working there trying to destroy Zach. Zach, of course, from Diversity in Comics, he was an online critic. He was criticizing Marvel Comics and their SJW content. And Heather Antos, who was an editor over there, edited the Star Wars books and others, set to destroy his Patreon, set to dox him, find out who he was, spread his name all over the internet when he didn't want his name all over the internet. And sure, his name was on the internet, but he didn't want people to know that Diversity in Comics was Richard C. Meyer. Heather Antos and her friends tried to make that public and effectively did so. So now everybody knows who he is. They found out that he worked at one time at PayPal, and they sought to get him fired from PayPal. Fortunately, he no longer worked there. It was old information. These people did everything they could to deplatform him, to take away his source of income, to starve him, put him out in the street. These people are all the same.
Okay, so you heard it there. These people, they're vicious. They're not content to just criticize you or refute your claims on social media. They resorted to a von Clausewitz-style total campaign to destroy this guy. I mean, the comic book writer, for example, Mark Waid, he called up the guy's comic publisher, Antarctic Press, and lobbied to get the publisher not to publish the dude's book, Jawbreakers. They dropped him. these people were trying to get the guy fired from PayPal. He didn't work at PayPal anymore. But the bottom line was, if he did, they were doing him material harm. They were in essence getting him blacklisted and trying to unperson him, because he said bad things about them. More or less, this guy was a colleague who was in their industry. Certainly, he had a negative opinion about them, and he wasn't shy about expressing it on the various platforms that he was on. But more or less, that was it. He said bad things about them. But this is the thing that you have to understand about the Heather Antoses of the world. My main issue with her is how she treats and speaks of not just the Comicsgate people, who, because I won't mince words, they seem to hate her guts. I mean, so if she wants to hate back on them, fine. But it seems like she's hostile to the very people who buy comics. The people who buy the movie tickets, or at least the hardcore, the people buying up all the merch, the toys, the fans, a large majority of those fans, just from casual observation, anyone would be able to tell you, they seem to have the same overlapping characteristics of being straight, being white, and being male. And that seems to offend her and her ilk to no end. And the very criticism that she cited of the upcoming Joker film that she's pointing to, it's nothing but a long diatribe bashing that very demographic. So understand, she's not famous for doing anything particularly well. There's nothing she's created that I could point to that you probably know about, or that she could receive credit for. There's nothing she's done in the comics industry, I think, that's of any note. I mean, her entire persona and the fuel that drives, the likes and the retweets that she's garnering for something that she says, that positive affirmation, is in expressing virulent hostility towards the largest contingent of comic fans and lamenting their large presence in the fandom of the very industry that pays her. In addition to a disdain that the most iconic and successful characters in that space, characters like Spider-Man, the Hulk, Thor, Superman, Batman, I mean, they just happen to share the same characteristics with those self-same class of fans that she seems to abhor. That's all for this NeoUnrealist. If you want to help the channel grow, do me a favor, hit like for this video, leave a comment below, and mash down on the subscribe button if you're not already subbed to the channel. And click on the notification bell beside it. You have to put it on the all setting if you want to keep up with newer content. If you want to contribute directly to the well-being of the channel and toss your hard-earned dollars into the tip jar, won't go towards the creation of any milkshake selfies. You have my word on that. Follow the links below to Subscribe Star or PayPal. If you watch on BitChute, you can just click on the green tip pledge button on the video player itself. If you're still around to hear this, though, after the money-grubbing capitalist portion of this long, rambling video about an obscure comic book editor you've probably never heard of, her obnoxious social media postings, I'm impressed. I mean, gold star for you. Thanks for watching.
Almost every assistant editor I deal with now is a Heather Antos level feminist. Like a virus, they've multiplied exponentially. Soon these nutjobs will be promoted to higher positions and they will hire even more feminists and SJWs. There are no creators or editors left to stand against this because most of them are totally cucked. You're talking about a lot of beta men who have no idea how to say no to a woman. They willingly submit to these blue-haired freak shows.